Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Enmore Singh. I hope I pronounced your name right. Welcome, and how are you doing today?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Hope you're having a great day as well.
Oh, yes, thank you so much. And I would love to introduce you to the audience, of course. So, you are a trader, investor, and author of Prepping for Success. You are a seasoned expert in navigating the emotional ups and downs of the stock market. Founder of Live Traders, you teach people to execute trades, analyze scenarios, and manage emotions under pressure. You began trading in college, using your earnings to start multiple franchises and move to America. By the age of 22, you were already a successful trader and have been featured in outlets like Business Insider and Forbes. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast, Enmore Singh.
Thank you. Thanks for the great introduction.
So you recognized yourself. This is already good. And
Yes.
what inspired you to start trading during your college years and how did it shape your journey?
Yeah, totally. So, I was just like a typical introvert in my dorm room in college, and I would always be on my computer. So there was a time where you had to apply for internships and jobs, and I did that, and I wasn't able to get a call back. Like nobody gave me a job, or I wasn't able to get one. And I saw all my friends were getting these great jobs. So I said, okay, what can I do from my skills, which is I love being on the computer, I love being on my own. What can I do from my computer? So then, you started researching, started looking into the stock market. And then I met some people in my university, in my college. They were also very interested in it. So we would just meet like once a week, talk about what we learned about the markets, what we read maybe somewhere, what we watched, and we kind of developed our skills together. And then I found myself becoming really curious about the markets. And I think that's the biggest reason I would give my success to is I was super curious. I wanted to learn everything. Why do the stocks move up? Why do they move down? What creates all of that? Like I really went deep into that and I found something that I was really passionate about. I really loved. And I've been doing that ever since. So yeah, that's what I would attribute kind of my success to. And what inspired me to do it was just had to do something, right? Had to do something. And the only thing I could come up with is what can I do on my computer?
So you followed already your passion and you do it until today.
Right. Yeah. I've been doing that since I was 18 years old. And yeah, just found something I loved and never changed my lane.
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
best part, I think, when you recognize this. So for me, first of all, I thought it would be accounting because I
Yeah.
did not know something else. But now I discovered the podcasting for me, and this is my next passion. So I have another question for you, of course. How do you help traders manage the emotional side of high stakes decision making?
Yeah, absolutely. With the stock market, there's the markets are dynamic. It changes every few seconds, right? Ups and downs. And trading can release the same hormones of dopamine and serotonin. And most people get that when they gamble or they do something else. And but then as traders, we're getting those spikes in dopamine and serotonin in our brain in real time, every single minute, every single second. So learning how to stay calm in the moment, learning how to be present, and a lot of that goes with like having a system. So we're not guessing, we're not gambling, we're not just picking a random stock hoping it goes up because hope is not a strategy. So we try to create strategies and we can test those strategies to see how they did over time. And so if you already know, kind of like a casino. So casino knows they're going to win long term. Now they might lose to some people here and there, but long run they're going to win. So we try to create the same system in our trading that it doesn't matter what one trade does or not. Over time we're going to make money. So when you eliminate the uncertainty in people's mind and when you eliminate the guessing game, then it's much easier to control those hormone spikes and we're not acting on emotion, we're acting on data.
Wow, that's great. So you are analyzing as well the charts, I assume. Of
Right.
course, and you have several strategies, not only one. I think the only one strategy I remember is the core, something with core and satellite, I think, strategy.
Yeah, so a lot of that our trading is based on technical analysis. So we use chart patterns, we use strategies, and then there's short-term trading, which will be in and out every day, and then there'll also be long-term or what we call core trading, where we're holding stocks for maybe a few months, few weeks, and we're trying to write a longer-term trend. So we do both. So day trading is like active every single day, kind of like a job. You're doing it every day to generate some income, and then we take a percentage of our income and we invest it for the longer term. So that also keeps building over time.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. And my next question for you is, can you share a key lesson from your book, Prepping for Success, that applies to both trading and life?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones is there's two main ones, but one of the biggest ones is like you have to take action. I think a lot of people get stuck in what I call the learning loop, where they feel like they're missing some information, they just want to keep learning. So they read one book, then they go to another book, then they go to another audiobook, then they go to one podcast, then they listen to another podcast, then maybe they sign up for an online course, and they just keep in the circle of just wanting to learn more. With nothing wrong with it, you should always be a lifelong learner, but then at some point you also have to do it. You have to actually execute on it. And I think a lot of people are stuck in that where they just keep listening, keep watching videos, they keep doing all of that, thinking that they're doing something, but then they don't actually apply or execute on what they actually learned. So I think the number one key is to take action, start now, right? And then let your failures, whether you're running a business, whether you're running your own podcast, whatever you're doing, like just start. And as you start, you'll start to learn more than just sitting and watching a video and not doing anything.
Oh, that's so true. And you
Yeah.
learn by doing it as well, and you can pivot when it's not working. And yeah, and I heard this quote, never change your goal or always stick to your goal, not to the plan. So the plan is
Mm.
something you can change. What about your goals and vision for the future? What is one of your next projects?
Yeah, so great question. So for me, I look at it like, if you look at, as you were saying, a big goal or a path, right? The path is going to be dark. It's going to be uncertain. You don't know what it's going to look like, right? So the path is very unclear, but the next step is always clear, right? We don't know, okay, I'm going to get to this goal in like 5 years, but do I know what the next step I need to do is? As long as you know the next step, you do the next step. And then don't focus on the big goal, just do the next step. Keep doing those small little next steps, and now you're going to go through the whole path. So I think that's kind of how I look at it. So I don't really set goals in terms of like long 5, 10 year goals. I just set goals. Okay, what is the next thing I need to do today, right? And if I just keep doing the next things, then eventually I'm going to get to my goal, long-term goal. So my vision right now is really just to create, a space where I'm living by integrity. So I'm doing what I'm teaching. I'm, being in the moment with everybody and everything, and then creating students that are, being taught my strategy so that they can go out and, add impact further on. Maybe they teach somebody, maybe they share it with somebody, and they're also changing their lives by actually applying this and investing it. So rather than trusting a broker or a hedge fund manager, we teach them how to do it themselves. And I think that's my goal, is to empower, millions of people to be able to take control of their financial future.
Wow, I love that. Thank you so much. I feel empowered right now
Mm.
already and inspired by our interview because you said something very important. It was about you always know the next step. And how
Mm.
do you know this step? Is it the alignment? I would say the alignment with the bigger vision.
Yeah, so your bigger vision would be more like, okay, that's where I want to go. That's the North Star. But then rather than focusing on how far that goal is, we just focus on, okay, what's the next thing I need to do? So, for example, let's say if you're running a business, not focusing on how am I going to get $5 million in sales, how do I get the next sale, right? How do I get the next sale? How do I get the next customer? And then you keep moving on, and eventually you're going to make progress to your goal. Same thing with trading and investing. If somebody's goal is, oh, I want to have $10 million in my investment account. Okay, how do we make the next $1,000? Right? How do we make next $10,000? Let's chunk our goals down and just focus on the next steps all the time. And that applies to everybody. So, if you're doing a podcast, okay, it's not like how do I become Joe Rogan and have 5, 10 million views. How can I get the next 100 people to view it? What do I need to do to get the next 100 people to view that? Which social media channels can I post to? Can I advertise? Can I boost my post? So we just focus on the next steps, and as you get progress down, 5 years later, you're eventually going to make a big progress if you just keep taking the next steps.
Wow, I never heard it this simple because it is simple when you focus on the next step. I never,
Yeah.
because most of the people expect, or the expectations are so high, they expect it
Mm,
overnight, their success. And but because I was confused about how do I know what is my next step.
mm,
But I think the next step is always known, as you said, it is
yeah.
right in front of us, and it can also be a door, like an opportunity opening up, and then you just have to say yes to it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the next step we know if we just sit it with ourselves for 2 minutes, close our eyes, and okay, what's the next thing I need to do? You have the answer. Whatever the first thing comes to your mind, that's the next step, right? And then now it's just about let's stop all the noise and let's just take that next step before we think. A lot of people think like 5 steps ahead. Well, what about this plan A, plan B, plan C? Let's just do plan A. Let's just do that first, and then we'll decide what the next step is.
Yes, and they overthink and they talk themselves out of it, in
Yeah.
terms of what if this is not working or something. So
Mm,
it's the negative thinking. And I think it's important what you said about the moment. What can I do in this moment? And
mm,
if you are aligned, or if you are peaceful, I would say, if like positive or peaceful, and you act in calmness, because this is also important for your business. We
mm.
talked about emotions as well, then it has to be successful. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, totally. I think it's just focusing on okay, what can I do right then? Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. What who do I need to call today? Who do I need to get in touch with today? Who's going to help me? Like asking those type of questions will get us keep moving closer to the goals, and then 10 years you look back and like, wow, how far did I come? But it was all just next step. So analogy for that I would give is, there was a time where I signed up for a marathon, right? And I've never run in my life, right? I didn't train for it. I was completely out of shape, and I just showed up. And then I started running. First lap in, and I was already tired, super tired. First lap in, and I was about to quit. I was like, okay, I can't do this. All these people have trained their life for this, and I just showed up. And then somebody told me there was a Navy SEAL. He came back and he said, "Don't focus on the 10 laps or 20 laps we have to run. Do you see that tree over there?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Just go to that tree." And then I walked over to that tree. And he's like, "Okay, do you see that tree over there? Just go to that one." I'm like, "Okay, it's like right here. I could easily go to that tree." And I walked over to that tree. And then just like that, tree by tree by tree by tree, we finished the whole thing. So it's just not focusing on this 30 laps I have to run. Okay, there's a tree right there. I just want to go to that one. And I just keep doing that. And before you know it, you finish the race.
Hmm, I understand. So you trick your own mind, so to say. And
Yeah.
also what you said about the work. I once heard someone saying, you cannot do tomorrow's work today. And I love
Mm,
that so much. You can only do this today, today's work today, so to say. And you
yeah.
talked about coaches as well, or helping other people, of
Mm.
course. What about your own coaches? Do you have coaches and mentors for yourself? And who was the best coach you ever had?
Yeah, totally. I have coaches in all areas of my life because to be every successful person that I know doesn't rely on themselves, right? Successful people collaborate with people, they get the best ideas from everybody. So that's the one of the characteristic of successful people. So my business partner was my mentor, right? He taught me how to trade the stock market, and then we became business partners many, many years later. So I had somebody who taught me how to trade stocks and how to invest, and now I'm doing the same thing for other people and continuing that, progress. But even now, like right now, for me, biggest focus for 2024 was my health because I was going out there, I was traveling a lot, I was making money, but my health was a little bit, not a great health. I was out of shape, gained a lot of weight. So for me, then this year, I got coaches in areas of health, right? Okay, come, somebody maybe give me a nutrition plan. What do I need to do for workouts? So then I get coaches in those areas. And same thing for me, I have other coaches I worked with. I've worked with a lot of different popular coaches that I hired them as like a mindset coach for myself, right? So because I need to be in my best ability so I can help and be the best for other people also. So I think everybody needs a coach. There's no shame in asking for help, right? Every successful people, every person does. Take a look at any sports person, they have coaches. Any successful person at any high level, they have coaches and mentors. Even Warren Buffett, right? They have mentors too. His mentors were his partner Charlie Munger and all the books that he read, Benjamin Graham and all those books that he read. And same thing for everybody else, right? Even if you look at politics, all the politicians have speech writers, they have coaches, they have all these different people working to create that staff. So we need that in our life too. And Napoleon Hill talks about it in his book. Every person needs a board of directors. Everybody needs a mastermind group that they can bounce ideas from. Even in Bible, it talks about it, having a council of your men and women. So it's those are like laws of success that you need to have. So I have the same thing. I run a mastermind group called Evolve Mastermind, and in that we have groups of traders and investors. Some are really good with real estate, some are really good with stocks. So there's different areas. So if I have any question about real estate, I know exactly the person to call. Right? If I have a question about accounting, there's a person in my mastermind who's going to be a great accountant. I have any questions about taxes, I go to him. So then I have people helping me so that I can focus on what I do best, my skills, my passions, my gifts, and then everything else I ask other people who are better at me than that, at those things.
Wow, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. You are one of the few people who read and applied Napoleon Hill's laws of success, so to say. We
Mm.
know his famous book Think and Grow Rich. Of course, I read it every day. I committed to it. Yes. And yeah, I love that so much. I can encourage people to study this and apply and to reach out to you to get your help. So, where can we find you when people want to reach out to you?
Yeah, I think the best place is, I'm actually would want to give your listeners a free copy of my book. They can, go to go.unmol.net. So it's just go dot my name, unmol.net. And you can go there. You just, put your shipping address, whatever it is, and I'll be happy to send out that book. You could get it on Amazon and stuff too. Otherwise, you can just go on the site and just, cover the shipping, and then we'll send it out to you.
Oh, thank you so much. This is so generous. I will put it in the show notes, of course, the link. Thank you so much for our interview. I'm inspired and encouraged as well to continue. And now is time for your final thoughts to the audience, please.
Yeah, my final thoughts is like taking action on everything we talked about today. So not moving on to the next podcast episode and just keep listening, but like ask yourself the question, okay, whatever you're working on, whether it's your job, business, or investments, what's the next step I can take? So that'll be what I will tell your listeners to close your eyes, ask yourself the question, what is the next possible step I can take to move the needle even at 1% in my life? And it could be health, right? It could be health related goal. What's the next step you can take? So I think focusing on that and then actually taking action. So going back and taking a look, okay, what are my top favorite 5 books that I've read in my life? And then ask yourself the question, did I actually apply that or did I just read it? Was it just me having all this information in my head or did I actually execute on it? So Napoleon Hill, if you read the books, awesome, great job. But then are you doing all the things that he talks about? Right. So we got to move past just knowing the information and we got to apply it.
This is the best message. Application is the name of the game. Thank you so much for sharing and also for our interview today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great chatting with you.
And see you in the next episode.